Dale Earnhardt Jr. steps into the wind tunnel with Dave Despain tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Only on Speed.
Oh, he'll be a tired puppy, too. 500 laps at Martinsville. Takes its total on that old left leg.
113 laps complete. Mike Duncan the leader, Matt Kobaluk second, and once again the free pass car is Ryan Foster, who will make up another of his laps. Here's Jim.
Guys, Nick Lynch running in the top 10, down the front stretch, got turned. They came in and just pulled the right front bumper off of the right front tire. All they had to do then is hope that all 4 tires hold air. If the tires are not down or cut or flat, they can't change them. So Nick flat spotted him slightly. They looked it over, just right front fender pulled out on the front of his Dodge.
Boy, that's hard to believe,
It
Jim,
is.
because that car, the corner of that car, hit that concrete hard.
Yeah, he jumped up in the air, so Rockstar is pretty tough.
Ralph?
Mike, I talked to Bill McAnally, the man who owns the 16 car of Brian Eichler, and he said, yeah, you know, we went just a little too far in tightening him up. The car was just way too loose at the end of that first 100 laps. They made air pressure adjustment, wedge adjustment, plus the new tires like Darrell was talking about. Just tighten the car up a little bit more. He thinks it's going to come around, but they're going to have to get a happy medium there, because with a 50-lap sprint, you're really going to need that car to be good right away.
Well, that's the good news, Ralph, is they've got one more chance to adjust on it when we have the competition yellow at 200 laps. Duncan and Kobaluk now for the restart.
But that's a good thing. I mean, they were too loose. Now they're too tight. So for the 50 laps, they ought to be able to nail it.
Like making porridge.
Sort of.
This bowl, well, this bowl's too hot. That bowl's too cold. You remember the story?
Yeah, well, I do.
I know
now.
It was a while ago.
A couple of weeks.
Come on, work with me here, will you?
Hey, Doc is a nursery rhyme.
Green flag.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Kobaluk on that upper lane.
Oh, boy.
He's looking fast. Looking real fast.
Looking for the lead.
He is.
Got the momentum off that corner, and Duncan's going to have to really, really fight back, but he's got a lot of speed right in the middle of the corner. Can he put the slide job on him? No, not that time. But I bet he does here.
And way to the bottom goes Joey Logano in the 20.
Yeah, I felt like Logano would be a lot better in this 100-lap segment here. That's too good a car, and he's too good a driver to be back there where he was in that first 100-lapper.
This is looking like they're ready to go 3 deep, and at this point, that's not the best of ideas.
A little early for that.
Yeah, it is. But there it is.
Oh, this is Irwindale at its finest now,
yes.
folks.
Yes.
3 wide and handsome.
Kobaluk now on the bottom, trying that one.
If Joey Logano's car looks a lot like one of Tony Stewart's, there's good reason.
Yeah, it used to be one of Tony Stewart's cars. Hand me down.
Well, these are basically Busch cars.
Cup cars.
Cup cars.
Or Busch cars. Some of these cars are 105-inch wheelbase, some are 110. Look at Logano way on the bottom. Kobaluk in the middle. Duncan on the high side.
The only way you can make that bottom really pay off is when you're down there, the guy on the outside gets a little loose coming up off the corner, and you can kind of slide up in front of him.
You know, as we watch Duncan lead all these laps, realize he has run every single one, all 4 of these showdown races, but he just hasn't been able to put together a great finish. Crashed last year, finished 16th, 23rd in 05, 4th, good finish, his best in 04, and 17th the first year we came here. So he's run fast, he's been consistently good, just hasn't been able to put together what he's looking for, which is that big checkered flag.
You know, this would be a very difficult track to spot on, because there's times in the middle of the corner where the guy on the inside is clear up, but by the time the spotter probably told him, the hole is closed up. So you got to really be anticipating to be a good spotter here.
Riding with Eichler.
What you don't see is the car right alongside him to his right that he almost slid up into in turn 2. That's the 48 of Eddie McDonald. McDonald wisely lets him go.
Yeah. He's probably been watching the same race I've been watching.
Car in the wall, turn 4, and he gets away, and that is 78 Moses Smith. No caution.
See, Duncan now has opened up a bit of a lead.
How about Eric Holmes in the 62? Last year at the white flag, he was second, and he and Sean Case got into it in turn 4 of the final lap, and Holmes ended up spinning around. Now, oops, little contact there.
Yeah, almost. And he crashed in practice, and so he was very tentative in qualifying, did not have the best of qualifying runs, and doing well right now. He started the race in 25th spot.
The other thing about that bottom lane, Mike, is you try to intimidate that guy on the outside. You really just try to get up there and push him up there to the point where he's got a lift to let you in. So there's a lot of games that are played here on this racetrack.
Well, here's old. Well, I wouldn't say old. Older. Okay.
If you say old, I'm going to listen.
I got to be careful with this one. I've really got to be careful with this one. Matt Kobaluk is 37 years old, and Logano is 17 years old. So there's a little difference between the two of them. But no, 37 is not old. Not where I stand anymore.
Mike has a saying about that old age.
Old age and treachery versus youth and enthusiasm.
That's it.
This kid Logano is more than just enthusiasm. He is so smooth. So fast. So's Peyton Sellers. Peyton Sellers will not abuse his equipment. He'll bring it home in one piece time after time after time, and he'll get every mile an hour out of that car.
That's that white number 83, and he has driven a very conservative and smart race so far.
You know why? Because he has to fix it.
Exactly.
Yes.
That makes a great driver, in my opinion.
Ralph?
Mike, I went and was listening to Scott Tapley. That's the spotter for Matt Kobaluk, and Daryl's exactly right. You really have to predict what that driver behind you is going to do, and that's what Scott's doing for Matt Kobaluk. As they come down the front straightaway or the back straightaway as you're watching, he'll say, Logano's going to go inside. He's setting you up, and that's exactly what happens. He gives him a really good indication way before he gets to the corner as to what's going to happen. And Daryl, I think a big part of that allows him to do that is just the shape of this racetrack. It's easy to tell where that guy's going to go from where he points his car.
No, I think you're right. And Mike was talking about that accident earlier where the guy's kind of all of a sudden just bombed in there. You know, it takes a spotter that can really look ahead and figure out what's going to happen to help the driver on this racetrack. Because, again, it's momentum, and you try to stay in the throttle as much as possible, a lot like Daytona or Talladega.
Now watch Joey Logano into 20. Lap after lap, he's been inside Matt Kobaluk, trying to get second place away. And how much of that car is he using up? He's got to get another 67 laps out of it before the next break.
I tell you, he's a smart driver, and I've watched him race quite a bit in the Hooters and in these cars, and he seems to know the edge, and he doesn't seem to push it over there. And what he's hoping for right now is that Kobaluk would possibly get a little bit loose and he could get in front of him, because he is definitely faster.
And Brian Eichler, car number 16, that was having trouble with that push earlier. Push seems to have somewhat at least gone away, and he is now part of this mess too.
Well, that's what a little bit of a snug race car will do. It'll free up with you as the run goes on, and that's what they were anticipating. But like we said, can't have that thing that tight in the 50 lapper or he'll get run off the left.
Logano keeps inching away at Kobaluk. He's got him by a car length. That goes down to half a car length as Kobaluk rockets off the corner. Sellers, the white car, right there. And so is Eichler.
But he's got him this time. He's going to slide up, clear up, and he's long gone now.
So Joey Logano, who started second, is back up to second. Mike Duncan is your leader at 137 laps.